Hello everyone, this is Robin Carter and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas, and today I'm here to share with you my third video of alternatives using the September 2023 paper pumpkin kit named With Love and Gratitude. By the way, if you are a paper pumpkin subscriber of mine, you will receive a sleeve for you to store your stamp sets so you can use them over and over, as well as a 1-inch square of the coordinating cardstock of your ink spot. And as you can see here, I write the name of those and store it or adhere it to the bottom of the ink spot so that when I store my ink spots, I like to store them upside down so that the ink stays fresh on the bottom, or not the bottom, on the top of the ink pad, much like our full-size pad. So, like I said, this is a little thank you gift I give to my Paper Pumpkin subscribers. And by the way, if you do not have a demonstrator and would like to start your subscription with me, there will be a link in the video description below of how you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin and start receiving your monthly kits. So let me thank those of you who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for your support. I have several new subscribers, so welcome to my channel. And if you are brand new to my channel, or maybe you've watched a few and have yet to subscribe, I would really appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button below and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any other future videos. And before I get started, let me say I have had some responses of several of you that would like for me to do a tutorial of how I use my Brother Scan and Cut to use with Paper Pumpkin and other stamps, and I will be getting to that. It will probably be after I finish my alternative, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. All right, on to the business of the alternatives. So if you followed my alternatives and you made 2 of these right here, then you have an extra strip, because when you cut this you have 4 strips. So I had 2 extra because I've made 2 of those cards, but I wanted to not throw those away and use those, so I have used those in an alternative that I'm going to share with you today. So by the way, I always get asked, so I'll just mention these are little sleeves that I store all my components for. Like even when I finish my cards, I put them in there so that I don't get ink on them. And then I store the components of the cards that I'm going to be sharing with you. These are the 5x7 envelopes, and they're a part of what I call my favorite things. So they're just things that Stampin' Up! Does not sell that helps me in my crafting. And this is a 9x7 one. And by the way, it's perfect to store your Paper Pumpkin goodies in rather than the box. So I do that to help me try not to lose my stuff until I use them. So as you can see, I still have quite a bit of goodies to use for this month's kit. So maybe there's going to be a 4th video this month. But anyway, this is my 3rd. And so let's get on to sharing the alternative. So I started out with a very vanilla card base again, made out of the thick, very vanilla cardstock. And then I cut a panel of crumb cake to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then I embossed it with a brand new embossing folder in the mini catalog called the Distress Tile 3D embossing folder. So I have started trying to put the item numbers of things on my goodies so that when I show them, you can see the item number. It's 162189. And by the way, if you do not have a demonstrator and want to add any of these goodies that I share, I would really appreciate you using the host code right here. This one's going to end soon, but it is good through the 30th. I'm going to try to leave it open then, but there's some things I want to close out the order to get as free gifts for my customers before they sell out. Speaking of goodies, so the Stars at Night bundle that was part of the Oh Holy Nights suite, it is back in stock already. So it wasn't expected to be till October 1st, but it is back in stock, as well as the star trinkets. And those are what I want to grab for some goodies. All right, but anyway, back to this. I did use this embossing folder, and then here are my 2 strips left from the other alternatives. Now they were a little longer, and when I saw these two and I was like, how am I going to use them? I remembered a card sketch that I had seen before, and I thought, you know what, this might work out. So I stamped in Very Vanilla 2 more strips. Now these are a little thicker, and I'm okay with that. These are like 7/8 of an inch, and I think these are 1 inch. And I'm okay with that. If you are a stickler for they all have to be even, then feel free to cut yours all the same. But I like the amount of spacing that these left, even being a different size. So I think I cut those down. Let me measure here. Yes, to 3 inches. And so as you can see, the vanilla are 1 inch. This is part of the card base, by the way, that I stamped. And these are 3 inch by 7/8 of an inch. So I wanted to put those there. And then I hadn't used these cute little pumpkin die cuts yet in our kit and the leaf. So I thought I would bring those in. So that's going to be a very simple card. So let's just start putting it together. I didn't pre-make one because I only had 2 strips left, and I thought I would just make this on the video with you. All right, so let's adhere this down, and this is my Tombow multi-purpose glue, and I put it in a fine tip glue bottle, which is also part of my favorite things. That way it helps me control the amount of adhesive that comes out. All right, and let's put this down. And one reason I love the Tombow is I can set it down and I can move it a little bit till to my eye it is straight. See if that has glue. Okay, so then I just give it a light rub to make sure there are no lumps and bumps of glue when it dries. Okay, so there we go. All right, so now I'm going to start adhering these on here, and you can decide if you like a little border all the way around or if you want them all the way down flush. But I think I'm going to leave a little bit of border, and I just realized I messed up. Let's see if I can peel this up real quick. All right. Doop. Okay. I'll tell you, you'll see how I messed up in a minute. But let me get out my silicone mat so this doesn't sit on my work surface and glue. I'm going to go ahead, now I'm going to adhere these down. I worked quick. I realized my mistake before it dried. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit of space. Okay, so I'm going to do the one on the left, and then I'm going to do the one on the right. And I just decided to alternate these. Kind of make sure if you have a direction of your eucalyptus stamp, that you can put it going straight. It's a little fuzzy from where I tore it off. Okay, and now you can set your other ones down and hopefully have a good spacing. All right, I'm going to turn mine like this because as I glue this down, I want to be able to see left and right of, and I hope my hair is not in the video, of the spacing. All right, that's pretty good. And to make sure it's kind of lined up. Okay, and I can get out this is one of my favorite things. It is my T ruler to see if I kind of glued them down straight. It's probably too late to move these, but I can see if they're straight. Oh, well, I'll do it off my card, not the silicone mat. That's too close. It's straight, but it's too close. Probably gonna have to put some more glue on here. All right, from my spacing off the card. It's easier when it's on the card because it's a little thicker. All right, you know what? Eyeballing looks pretty good on those, so we're going to go with that. Okay, what I messed up with, I wanted to put a strip of this ribbon across the top. And by the way, I looked earlier, and this ribbon is still available on the clearance rack. I was glad they brought it back because I have some I can use. It's called the Natural Finish Ribbon, and its item number is 159051, and it is on the clearance rack for, I believe, like $3.40, something like that. So you will get 10 yards of this lovely ribbon. So I thought it went really well with this kit, so I decided to bring it in since it's available on the clearance rack. Okay, now when I do this, rather than wrap it all the way around and try to do it, a ribbon saving technique that I use often is to do this. Get it where you want it. Of course, I gotta be careful of mine because now it's got Tombow that's glide to repositionable. And then I get some tear and tape. Now we have had tear and tape in our paper pumpkin kits a few times this year already. So you probably have some extra left over. So you can use Scotch tape. I just have this tear and tape, so I decided, you know what, I need to use it. Plus it'll hold it well. All right, so tear off the sides, or the backing, not the sides. I have a hard time with this sometimes. I should get take your pick tool out. Plus my fingers are kind of sticky too now. All right, there we go. All right, so with your tear and tape on the back, you can hold it where you want it and then wrap it around and tack down. Now, because I'm still tacky, I'd love to be able to see my grid mat, and I'm just going to go with it. If it sticks to it, we're going to be fine. So I want to put it even, so I use my grid sheet and I smooth it across that, and then I can tack it on the back so that it's straight. Okay, now we can adhere this to our card front. So let me go back with some Tombow multi-purpose glue. And put on our very vanilla card base. It's going to be harder to move now because some parts are tacky already. It's not all liquid. So let me just get it as straight as I can. And we'll press down. All right. You know what? Let me get my powder for my embossing. And make this not sticky. Of course, I don't know where it is. It's not in its usual spot. So we'll just try to rub it up real quick. Otherwise, I would take my embossing buddy and put that on there so it's not sticky. But we'll just try to stay away from that area. Okay, so like I said, I hadn't used the pumpkins yet in this kit. Now, if you're not a fan of the, I think this is supposed to be a smoky, not smoky slate, the Pebbled Path pumpkin, you can go over with your blends and make him a different color. I'm going to stick with him because, I don't know, just some variety of color. All right, and then we have the leaves. So kind of lay them out like you want them. And then if you want to add the gold leaves, you can, or if you want to save those for something else, feel free to do that. I think I'm going to add them, but I want to put this big pumpkin up on dimensionals. So these are my full-size dimensionals, and I do cut them in half. They seem to they're fine, big enough. So you can see by using 4, I'm really only using 2 full-size dimensionals, plus I use the end of a strip as well. So again, let's lay these down like we want them. Before I take off the backing, I'm going to kind of see if that's about where I want it. I think I like it like that. So let's take off these backings. I could put the backings there. That would help cover up the sticky. Well, they won't stick to it because it's slippery. Okay, so I'm going to take just a tad of glue and put it down. And then I'm going to see if I'm going to tuck him in last. Okay, there's our big glue. Now for the leaf, I'm going to use a spot adhesive dot that's usually included in our paper pumpkin kits. And this is where the take your pick tools are well worth their money because you can get them up very easily. I'm going to put this on the bottom of the gold. And I think I'm going to put a few around just so they stay in place and don't get bent. Okay, and now let's tuck him in here. Oops. I want to get my glue dot under the pumpkin. There we go. So that's our little patch of pumpkins. And then I've already done a sentiment that I want to put on here. This is, I believe, from a past paper pumpkin kit. Let me see if I find it real quick. Yes, this one is from the September 2021 paper pumpkin kit, You Are a Blessing. So that's the one I used for this month's sentiment, and I want to put that on dimensionals as well. So I like showing you how you can use your stamp sets over and over again. All right, so here is my alternative using those leftover strips from our previous kit. And I'm going to have to get out my gum eraser. I don't know if this is on my favorite thing, but it is one of my favorite things, this gum eraser. Stampin' Up! Used to carry it. Oh, that might be shaking my camera. And you just rub, and this thing is going to last me probably the rest of my life, and probably 2 or 3 lifetimes. But you can just rub, and then when you get the gumpies on the end, you just peel them off and throw them in the trash, and then it makes your card smooth again. All right, so this is my first alternative today, using those 2 extra strips and some of the pumpkin dies. So what do you think about that? All right, let's put this away and get on to my next alternative. Now, my next alternative is one of my favorites. I just used the stamp, the pumpkin stamp, out of the kit with a few extra things that I'm going to share how I did this. Oops. And I'm going to make an alternate of this card using some other products. So here is my alternative with a little pumpkin patch. And let me show you the materials I use for that. So still on the current clearance rack is the Playful Piggy dies. Now I use these back in the February kit, making a little wagon, and I can show you the wagon it makes. Isn't it cute? And I set the frogs in it, so if you missed that video, go check that out. So it has a die cut for the wagon as well as the handle and the wheel, so it's very easy to put together. But I thought, you know what, this would make a cute fence with just cutting off the parts. So I have pre-die cut, and by the way, I think this, yes, it's $12.40, and I also have used the bird in here, and I'm going to use this leaf as an alternative to my alternative in this kit. But I just wanted to show you how cute the little wagon is put together. So I then cut 2 what's supposed to be wagons, and even though it didn't fit the whole thing completely, that's fine because I'm going to cut off the wheels to make a fence. So Let's cut the wheels off. And then any part of the handle you have left on 2 of them. There are so many elements of dies in this one that I'm surprised it's still on the clearance rack, because there's a grass one, there's a wagon or fence, what I'm going to call it. Okay, so there's my fence. Again, I have another very vanilla card base. And with this one, which I'm probably going to use on more, I think it would have been cute with the pumpkins too. I forgot about the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder, and it's just across the side. There's nothing here, but that's okay. I like that look. And the item number, if you've missed this one, is 159847. So you want to add that to your list. There's the item number for that one. And I've pre-embossed it here, so we didn't have to waste any time looking. But I see here I forgot to get out my Mossy Meadow. So let me grab a Mossy Meadow layer. I have a lot of scraps of Mossy Meadow, but I need a full sheet. All right, so let's make our layer for it. Let me get out my trimmer. Seems like I always forget something in my little kit. All right, so let's cut this to 4 1/8. By 5 3/8. Okay, and then while I have the vanilla piece, I can see I didn't trim it. So it needs trimmed, and so I've decided I'm going to trim it here, whoops, in the camera where there's a little bit of blank space. So I want to trim that to, I'm going to do a whole 1/4 inch smaller. So that's going to be, it's 3/8, so that'll be 5 1/8 by, it was 4 1/8, so 3 7/8. And again, I'm going to go off the side that has more of a non-embossed side. So let's make sure I did that right. I did, and I'm kind of sad it took off my corner there. But we're going to go ahead and go with that. That's, there he is. When you emboss stuff and then cut it, it can tear, especially off the corners. So be mindful of that. You might want to trim this one ahead of time before cutting. Now, if you want it to be real conservative with your cardstock, you can cut the center out of this. I'm going to leave it alone since I'm on video with you guys. And I have plenty of Mossy Meadow. All right, so let's glue this down. I was looking at my sample to make sure I did glue this down first, and I did. Okay, now I used the stamp to make a whole lot of pumpkins, and I'm going to show you the difference in just stamping and then adding some color to it. I'm going to lose all my leaves. Let's set those over here with on my grid sheet. All right, so let me get out the pumpkins. All right, so when you first stamp the pumpkin, you get this. Okay, I'm going to put that on my yellow, or my very vanilla front. Okay, so it's kind of flat. So then I went in with just some blender pen and some ink, and it's a very subtle difference. It gives it some dimension. Okay, and then I went in with a sponge dauber and wasn't real happy with that look. That was kind of dark, and I went over with the blender pen, but I think I need to go over the rest of it. I can do that now. It'll take a while to dry, but and look right, but I can see now that I would need to go over that. So I'm probably going to use him. So I'm sorry, this is the color lifter of the blends collection, and it is sold individually. The item number for it, is it on here? There it is, 144608. So that's with sponge dauber and then taking some off with the blender pen. Okay, that's the flat one, just stamped. Okay, and then this is with some Calypso Coral Stampin' blends. Okay, just to give it some different color. And then this one is with a marker and using the blender pen. Where it is? Now these come in a 3-pack, and it's the blender pen. So they're a great thing to have for your watercolor pencils or just adding some color. And let me see if I have a pack. Here's a pack. If the number is still current, it's 102845. And that's in the new packaging, so hopefully that's still the number that works today. So that was this one. No. Yes, that was with a marker and a blender pen. Okay, and then I had a dark pumpkin pie blends marker, and it looks like this. This may not show well. And here's blender pen with ink. I think I showed that one. Okay, and then that one's just a flat one. So I don't know if that shows well on the video, but it really gives some dimension to your pumpkins. And as you can see, probably better on the card, these give some dimension. So that's how I made the pumpkins, and I just thought I would show the different coloring methods so that you can choose which one works best for you. Now I'm not going to glue this on yet because I'm going to bring in that ribbon again that's on the clearance rack, but I want to start building my pumpkin patch. So I'm going to pick 5 that I like, and the ones you don't like as much, you can kind of tuck them in the middle, one here. And I don't want a flat one. I want one with a little color. And, you know, not every pumpkin is the same. So I do kind of like using the different ones here to give some variation of pumpkins. So I wanted to use 5. So just kind of lay them out like you like it. So I'm going to put these front 2 on dimensionals. So this, you don't have to have anything but the stamps to make this alternative, as well as the things off the clearance rack. Okay, so let's add a little adhesive. I want these to overlap a little bit. Let's get my adhesive and let's put a little adhesive to adhere those down. Okay, and then we can put these on there. Lots of backings to take off. So I wrote on the back how I made it so I could remember which ones to tell you how I made it. And when I mean marker, I mean literally the markers. The Stampin' Right markers. There, that's the official name. A pumpkin pie, by the way. Okay, so these were stamped in pumpkin pie ink and then manipulated in color by the items I showed. All right, so there's our little pumpkin patch, and now I can put the fence over it. So I have, that's the wagon. Find my fence pieces. There they are. All right, so you're going to want to adhere them together. And I'm okay that this other post shows. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on the fence and kind of eyeball it. That would probably be better with non-liquid glue because now it's all over my fingers. I've got a damp paper towel. See if I can get that off. Okay, so that's about the right length, and it looks pretty straight. Although I've got a little bit of the wheel left. Where did I see that? On this piece. It's not it is noticeable when I turn it that way. Okay, so then to put this on the pumpkins, I'm just going to glue this straight on the ones with dimensionals. And I have some Tombow Aqua that unfortunately Stampin' Up! Does not sell, but when it dries, it doesn't dry tacky. Now, I did have someone remind me that I could just use my Stampin', my embossing buddy to tap on there, which puts some powder on it that makes it not sticky, and that is correct. And now I just hope I got it where there's pumpkins. If you wanted to, you could cut a little piece of dimensional and stick it under there. I'm going to wait and see how this lies down. I may not have gotten glue right where it sticks. So there's our pumpkin patch. And now, while the glue dries, I want to stamp my sentiment. Now, this cute little sentiment comes from my past paper pumpkin kit. Oh, let's see. Where did they all go? I just showed them. And my other, that's not them. Here they are. Okay, so you can use, if you've just been subscribing this long, one of these Hey There Pumpkin would be cute. But I liked this Hello Pumpkin from September 2020. So, and I'm going to use it, or show you how I used also another stamp. So it must already be on a block right here. So I'm going to stamp this in, getting out my Stampin' Pierce mat. That is in copper clay. This was a Stampin' Spot back in May, I believe. All right, and I'm going to stamp it a little on the left, and I'm hoping to get it straight. Okay, that's good. That's good. Always tricky. Okay, now on this alternative, I use the same little bitty leaf that's in this kit. Okay, this one right here. Isn't that cute? I love those little leaves. But this one, I wanted to show you how you can get more mileage out of the piggy dies. So as you can see, there's grass. Here's some birds I've cut that I used. Just very, very cute. All right, so I've went ahead and pre-cut the leaves. Now they come two together, but I'm going to cut them apart. Here's a mossy meadow. Here's copper clay. And somewhere there should be some crushed curry. All right, so you just have to do like 3 die cuts for your 6 flowers. But let's go ahead and put the ribbon around. Oh, he is not staying. All right, so let's get out the dimensionals and cut little pieces on the end. So you can use the end of yours and just cut little pieces. Apparently where I put the glue, it did not touch a pumpkin. Hope he's not too thick. All right, let's take that off. I'm going to add a little more adhesive, more on the inside thirds, because I think that's where the pumpkins are. Okay, and let's set him down straight, hopefully. All right, and I've got a little bit of Stampin' Dimensional showing. I'm going to trim him off a little bit. Okay, so now our fence will stay, although now he's crooked. Okay, so let's get out the ribbon that's on the clearance rack. I thought this made a very nice border, and it made it a little more fancy. So like I say, I just kind of pick an amount, leave it on the roll, and get my ribbon scissors. I have a ribbon around. These are really, really sharp. And cut my ribbon. And again, I'm going to want to put some tear and tape on the back for about where I've got a mess on each side of me here. You can see half of it. Let's put the lid on this. Put that away. What do you guys think about this alternative? I thought it was really cute to have a little pumpkin patch. Okay, let's tear off the backings. Don't lose your leaf. All right, and again, I'm going to hold this with my silicone mat so it doesn't stick. And I'm going to try to get it even. So then before I tack it down, I think I want it a little further down like I did the other one. I'm going to eyeball this. Okay, this ribbon does have some flexibility to it, so you might want to put some in the middle. I'm going to see how mine works without it. Okay, so now we can glue this panel down. I'm going to use my Tombow if I find it on my table. Wrong basket. So by the way, a cheap upside down glue bottle holder is a medicine bottle, and I just put some trinkets in there to give it some weight. I probably need a rock because the trinkets still aren't heavy enough. And by the way, I'm not going to do it, but since that edge is ripped, I can probably go along and distress the whole edge. All right, so now just give it a little press. When I have already dimensions like that, I generally open it and then do a little rubbing to get the glue all smoothed out. All right, so there we go. So here's our label, and I did just adhere it straight to the ribbon, and I did use the glue dots that come in our kits. It seemed to stay. Sometimes stuff doesn't stick really well to ribbon. That one seems to have stayed. I'm going to do 3. And by the way, this label is cut from one of my favorites, a Stylish Shapes die. So it's this smallest long dotted label. And the item number for it is 159183. And it is either currently unavailable or low in stock. I can't remember which one on this one, but it's a great one to add to your collection because it has the circles and they're all have the stitching. I'm all about the stitching. All right, I'm going to kind of try to put this in the middle-ish. It's not going to matter as much because we're going to add these leaves. Now, like I said, on this one, I did use the leaf from that stamp set. Okay, this one I'm going to use the piggy leaves, and they do cut 2 at a time. I'm just going to cut off the stem, and let's lay some here. He's going to go here. And so you get to tell me which one you like best. And these have 2 different shapes of leaves, so slightly, well, they're very similar, but they're a little different. So you can tell me which one you like best. Okay, I just thought I would do this in case you were not a subscriber way back then. Whoops. All right, so let's do a glue dot on this so we don't have a glue ooze mess and get glue all over my fingers. I did do these other ones on dimensional, so we'll do that to make it similar. All right, so I did the crushed curry there. Yay, I'm almost done with this little glue dot pack. And a copper clay. If I did, so this Mossy Meadow, crushed curry, and copper clay. You know, and you probably have lots of leaves, depending on, what you collect. I put that on the top. Uh-oh. I'm going to mess up my leaf. Oh, I think I didn't totally tear him. Actually, I put it on the top. Okay, so there's 3 leaves, and now these 3 leaves, we're going to use the dimensionals again. And if you have tiny ones, that'll work. I know I do in my little stash. I can't remember which ones came in this month because I just throw them in my little bucket there, and I use what I already have started. All right, so here is a copper clay leaf, a mossy meadow leaf, and there he is, my crushed curry leaf. All right, so here is my second alternative for today, and let me know what you think about it in general. If you like it, give me a thumbs up for this video, and then which one, I'm going to cut this stem a little off. Okay, so which one of these do you like better? Do you like better the one using the stamp and die cut, or not die cut? I did use my scan and cut. I cheated. And then, or these that I die cut using the little piggy die. So I really like this set. Those are really high up. I wish we had a half a dimensional. He's not on there straight. Let's see if I can not mess him up totally and re-stick him. Whoops, that's worse. Okay, well, I will work with him after this video to get him on there, right? So here's my the second alternative I shared, and I've lost the first. Oh, the first one is right here, which I only have one of. So again, thank you for watching me today. I hope I've given you some tips of how you can use other supplies that you may have in stock, or if there's some goodies you may want to grab up while they're on the clearance rack, like the piggy dies and this natural ribbon, which is nice. It's going to it'll coordinate with lots of things because it's a natural color. All right, so like I said, I will be sometime working on my brother's scan and cut video, and if I come up with any other alternatives, I will share it. I still have lots of supplies, so there is likely to be a 4th video. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and again, all the information about my favorite things is in the description box below, and I will have a list of the supplies used for this on my blog. So that blog post will probably happen tonight or tomorrow. So thanks for joining me. Have a great day, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your kit. Bye-bye.